My name is William Edward, and this episode is about the life I almost missed while I was busy surviving. When people hear stories about change, they imagine a moment where everything clicks into place and you never look back. What they don't talk about is the strange grief that comes with growth. The grief for the years you spent believing you were less than you were capable of becoming. 2 years had passed since the morning I first woke up 10 minutes early. 2 years since I stopped waiting for permission. My life was stable now, not glamorous, not headline-worthy, but steady in a way I had never known. I was respected at work, I was mentoring others, I was writing almost every day. From the outside, it looked like success. From the inside, it felt like awakening. And yet, I began to notice a quiet sadness creeping into my thoughts. Not the emptiness I used to carry, but something heavier, regret. I would be standing in line at the grocery store or driving home at dusk when the question would hit me without warning. What if I had started sooner? What if I had believed in myself 10 years ago, 20 years ago? How different would my life look now? At first, I tried to ignore those thoughts. I told myself they were useless, but they didn't leave. They waited patiently for moments when I was alone, and then they spoke. One Sunday afternoon, I pulled out a box from the back of my closet. Inside were old notebooks, school papers, faded photographs. There was a picture of me at 17, leaning against a rusted pickup truck, eyes full of a confidence I didn't recognize anymore. I stared at that boy and felt a strange mix of pride and sorrow. Pride that he had dreams, sorrow that I had abandoned them. That night, my 10-minute quiet time turned into an hour. I didn't breathe. I didn't meditate. I argued with my past. I listed every choice I wished I had made differently. I told myself I had wasted the best years of my life. Then something unexpected happened. I grew tired of blaming. I realized I had been judging my younger self by standards I only learned later. I had been asking a frightened young man with no guidance to behave like someone with decades of perspective. That wasn't fairness. That was cruelty. The next morning, I opened my notebook and wrote a letter to the boy in the photograph. I told him about the jobs, the exhaustion, the loneliness. I also told him about the promotion, the mentoring, the writing, the peace. I thanked him for surviving long enough for me to become who I am now. That letter did something powerful. It closed a chapter I had kept reopening. I stopped measuring my present against an imaginary past and started measuring it against the person I was yesterday. Not long after, the company asked me to speak at a regional training event. Hundreds of people would be there. The old William would have invented an excuse. This William said yes and felt terrified. On the drive there, I almost turned back. I imagined forgetting my words, embarrassing myself, confirming every old doubt I used to believe. But then I remembered the letter. I remembered the boy by the truck, and I drove on. When I stood in front of that room, I didn't try to impress anyone. I told them the truth. I told them about invisibility, about silence, about 10 quiet minutes that became a life. I didn't see managers or employees in the audience. I saw versions of myself. When it was over, people didn't rush out. They stayed. They lined up to talk. Some were older than me. Some were younger. All of them had the same look in their eyes, recognition. That night I lay in a hotel room, far from home, staring at a ceiling I didn't recognize, and felt something settle in my chest. Not excitement. Not pride, peace. The life I had almost missed wasn't about success. It was about presence. It was about waking up to my own existence before it was too late. If you are listening to me right now and regret is sitting beside you like an uninvited guest, I want you to hear this. Your story is not late. It is exactly on time for the person you are becoming. You didn't fail to start sooner. You survived until you were ready. And readiness is not a moment. It is a choice you make today.